Grenada records 7 COVID-19 deaths in one day. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. Details to the news for Monday, September 6th. I am Rikisha St. Louis. Grenada recorded 7 COVID-19 deaths in a single day, increasing the country's total from 5 to 12. The deceased, all of whom had comorbidities, were confirmed cases of COVID-19 ranging in age from 26 to 85 years. The Ministry of Health has confirmed that 5 of the deaths were among patients admitted to the General Hospital, with 1 death at the Princess Alice Hospital and the 7th person dying at home. Data provided by the Ministry of Health indicates that 4 of the deceased are females and 3 males. Also, 4 of the deceased were residents of St. George, while the remaining 3 were from St. Andrew. Health and Social Security Minister Honorable Nicholas Steele, who was a guest on the Monday morning television program Perspectives, confirmed that the majority of deaths being recorded are among the unvaccinated.
This disease is doing exactly what it has done everywhere else. It is science-based. Deaths are doubling exponentially. Positive cases are doubling exponentially. And this is identified now most significantly here as a pandemic of the unvaccinated as well. We're seeing very little, if any, cases of individuals who are vaccinated. We're seeing very little hospitalization, if any, of persons who are vaccinated. And in our contact tracing and communicating to those who are positive that are vaccinated, they're clearing out in days, testing negative because their bodies are well equipped to fight this virus.
To date, more than 20 COVID-19 positive patients were hospitalized, with a few of them listed in critical condition. The Ministry of Health, and by extension the Government of Grenada, extends deepest condolence to the family and friends of the deceased. Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honorable Keith Mitchell has reiterated his call for unity and collaboration as the country intensifies its efforts in the fight against COVID-19 in the midst of the current spike in infections. In an address delivered on Friday night, the Prime Minister said COVID-19 poses a threat to everyone, and as such, any meaningful attempt to address the disease and its impact requires a collaborative effort.
COVID-19 is no respect of class or affiliation. As it goes looking through our communities, finding refuge as it travels indiscriminately from one body to the next, it poses a threat to all of us, a clear and present danger to the healthy, wealthy, and the most vulnerable. But in the midst of the threat, a pathway is illuminated, created by a mix of individual and shared responsibility.
Dr. Mitchell made another call to all leaders and persons of influence within the community to put aside personal and organizational differences and join hands to promote behavioral change.
The time will come for us to do a deep dive, a thorough analysis of Grenada's COVID experiences and other issues. For now, our priority must be on achieving absolute unity in the fight against this unseen enemy. Our energies must be singularly focused on navigating through the current crisis. And I cannot stress enough the importance of doing so collectively.
Prime Minister Mitchell also encouraged Grenadians to be more responsible in their actions to help curb the spread of the virus. Continuing the news, the Royal Grenada Police Force says moving forward, only essential workers and businesses granted permission by the authorities will be allowed to operate during non-curfew hours under the COVID-19 Emergency Powers Regulation 2021. A curfew was announced for the state by Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honorable Keith Mitchell on Friday from 7 p.m., ending at 5 a.m. from September 4th to September 21st. On Saturday, during a press conference hosted by the Royal Grenada Police Force, Sergeant Val Lambert explained that the regulations are in place to control the spread of the virus and protect the citizens. She emphasized the need to restrict movement even when the curfew is not in effect.
Daily restriction of movement will resume thereafter for the period 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. the following day. And then for the following weekend, movement will again be restricted for the entire period from 5 p.m. on Friday the 17th day of September 2021 to 5 a.m. on Monday the 20th day of September 2021. And as again, you can move during that period for vaccination, to be tested for COVID-19. As may be authorized by the Commissioner of Police and for the other reasons provided in the regulations.
Ports, laundromats, wholesale and retail grocery stores, security companies, commercial bakeries, construction workers, among others, according to Sergeant Lambert, will be allowed a movement between the hours of 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. These businesses must adhere to the protocols in place: mask wearing, physical distancing, sanitization of hands.
Airports are allowed to be open, commercial courier flights, commercial ports and related businesses. Accountants engage in their trade by appointment only. Banks, credit unions, and money services businesses and companies offering payday loans. Food vendors and restaurants offering drive-through or takeaway services only. Flower shops with only pickup and delivery services. Registered or bona fide fishermen, farmers, butchers engage in their business. So you're moving for the purpose of being engaged in your business. Offices of the government, statutory bodies, state-owned enterprise, gas stations, hospital and medical facilities and medical supply establishment, pharmacies with pickup and delivery services only, registered medical practitioners, dental practitioners, opticians by appointment only, veterinarians engaged in their trade, hardware store with pickup and delivery services only, hotels, the restaurant of which may offer only takeaway or room service, insurance companies by appointment only, law offices and attorney at law engaged in their trade by appointments.
The regulations under Section 21 gives power to police officers to use reasonable force and arrest without a warrant to obtain compliance.
Any police officer may enter any premises without a warrant. Any police officer may arrest without warrant any person whom he or she has reasonable cause to believe has committed an offense against these regulations. So any of the regulations that I spoke of before, that a police officer suspects that has been breached, are arrestable offenses. And the penalty is a fine not exceeding $1,000 and to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 12 months. Alternatively to arrest, a police officer may issue a ticket, and if it is so paid by the individual, the fixed penalty will be $550.
This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break.
This is a message from the Ministry of Health. If you or a family member suspect that you may have contracted COVID-19 and are displaying symptoms, please immediately self-isolate at home. This means that you must also avoid all contact with other members of your household. Do not visit hospitals or health centers, as this creates the potential for further spread of the virus, and it puts additional persons at risk when you come into contact with them. Your best course of action is to call the COVID-19 hotline at 458-4787 or 538-4787, or contact your nearest health center or medical station. Once your information has been received, health officials will come to you. Help prevent the spread of COVID-19. This has been a message from the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back. Minister for Infrastructure Development, Senator the Honorable Norland Cox, says heavy rains over the last few days have not significantly impacted work that has already begun on the St. John's River in River Road. Senator Cox spent part of his day Sunday visiting various sites that are prone to flooding and landslide during heavy rains, with the first stop being at the site of the river. He told the Government Information Service that while they were prepared for the challenges that heavy rain would bring, the interruption would also give the contractors a clear picture as to what exactly happens during these precipitations.
I have consulted with the contractor. Yesterday we spoke and to find out what are the impact of the work they have done so far. And so where they are, the damage or interruptions is minimal. As soon as the river subsides, they can quickly get back to doing the work. They have done some base work, which you wouldn't see now because the water is up. And so they're moving on along nicely on this project.
The work has been undertaken to mitigate significant flooding that has plagued the area for years. It includes dredging of the riverbed, excavation on the embankment, and construction of reinforced concrete walls and installation of gabion baskets. The current work on the project has been undertaken by Sunrise Construction. Currently, Creative Designs has been contracted to undertake work at the mouth of the river, but that has not yet started.
Now where we are, it's quite good because we are going into the dry season. So the majority of the infrastructure work, we will see that taking us into the dry season. So we're not too concerned. During those periods, as we get into early next year, that will help. We can use that period to expedite those infrastructure work. So that is where we are, but we are very comfortable as to where we are, and we are moving forward, and we're monitoring the weather. We have to continue to work, and we have interruptions with COVID, as you can see. Now we have some challenges with shortage of material and things like that, and even changes in cost of material. That has also affected the project in terms of its overall cost, initial cost. So there's a number of things that we have to contend with, but we are happy to have this project on the way. It's a long outstanding project.
The Infrastructure Minister also made a stop in Mount Gay, where work is scheduled to be completed in a matter of weeks on a retaining wall higher up the St. John's River. This is a separate project which is designed to correct erosion of the riverbanks.
We've been working in the river for the past couple of weeks, actually trying to get this wall up. Unfortunately, based on our monitoring and looking at the weather and actually working on weekends and expediting the work, we can see we are above ground here. And so this project is pretty much safe. So the rains have not affected it in any way. However, we have some control measures within the river as well to kind of redivert the water away from it so that we can do the necessary casting. One of the things that we do was to help to divert the water away directly from the actual infrastructure work that we are doing. So we had equipment, excavator, go into the river and actually pack boulders to kind of help channel the water away so that it could help us to work quickly. Even while the water is running, help us to actually implement this work here. So our engineers, they're doing a fantastic job. They're working with the contractors, and it's a difficult time for everybody, but this is important to ensure that we do not have significant more slippage that can stop traffic altogether on this road.
Finally, in the news, a charge from Minister for Education, Human Resource Development, Religious Affairs and Information, Honorable Emmeline Pear, to teachers and students to continue giving of their best despite these challenging times. It was contained in her message during the ministry's hour of prayer to mark the start of the Michaelmas term.
We want to look at the holistic development of our children, so critical. And if that is to happen, of course, God must be at the center of this. And so today, as we meet again to pray, I am really confident that God is still who He said He is. I am very confident about that. And because He is who He said He is, because He is who we know He is, that we are going to get through this together. So I want to encourage us to let us keep our faith alive. Let us keep our eyes focused upon God. Let us continue in optimism, in faith, in confidence, knowing that God is well able to do exceedingly abundantly above all.
Monday's devotional exercise was held under the theme, Facing a New Year with Optimism and Confidence. It included remarks from Ministry of Education officials, renditions from students, and prayer sessions. That story just ended the national report for Monday, September 6th, recapping the top story. Grenada records 7 COVID-19 deaths in one day. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.